Alright guys, so welcome along then to round 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So we're in qualifying 1 right now. I think we have enough drivers, so the guys have decided to do a full qualifying, which means we'll be going through Q1, Q2 and Q3. I do apologize if you hear some noise in my background. It's just fans spinning next to me. It's extremely hot, sorry about that. But let's get underway with qualifying 1, 18 minutes, and we have both Mercedes are out. And let's see how well these guys do and how many drivers will proceed over to the Q2 session. So it's going to be interesting to see that happen. Alright, let's get some stats out on screen so we can see what's going on. So let's go down fitted, enable, and we're going to use the full track map just so we can see where everyone is as the session does progress through. It should be a pretty interesting race. I'm anticipating, maybe I already told you guys, maybe we'll probably have a VSC or maybe an actual safety car. I'm not sure how well this race is going to go through because it is a pretty competitive track and guys are going to be pushing pretty hard here. It is the second race of the season. We have a lot more drivers from our previous race in round 1. Yeah, we did at Australia. I think we had about 13 drivers on track for that one. But let's see how well these guys do fare here. We have quite a few new drivers on track here, so let's see how well they're going to do. There were some pretty interesting battles going on in our last race, coming right down to the end of that race actually. So I'm interested to see how well this one is going to go. So getting into Q1 guys, pretty interesting track here. I think the worst possible turn you have is turn 10. That's coming up here right now. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the most difficult turns I've encountered on this track actually. As we saw Milan just go through there getting past Batterby now. So no lap time posted as yet, just session has just begun. It is interesting to see Milan using so much of that track just to get around that turn. I've never tried that before, but I might give that a go. It's one of the most fascinating things for me to have a view from this angle, so I actually get to see the different lines that all the drivers usually take. And you know, I just put them all together and try and improve on my lap times as much as I can. But let's see how well these guys do when we do have some lap times going in. We have T-Pang on mediums right now, so he might be doing a few laps on those to see how well he's going to fare compared to the other guys on track. So let's see, we had CB in a Mercedes and there was another driver as well, that's Mistaken Youth. They were both first to get out on track, I believe. Doesn't seem like they're on a hot lap. We're just to see. We're gonna follow someone who does get on a hot lap very soon. And all eyes will be on our drivers this evening for this race because we do have our sponsor Gaming Guru having a view as well here. Sorry about that guys, we're just trying to get the stats coming off. So there we go. Let's see, Mistaken Youth, first guy to put a time in, but he does get pushed down by New Potato there. New Potato did pretty well in the last race. Himself and Beefy were getting into a pretty good battle going. So quite a few lap times posted so far. We got from a minute 25 down to a minute 28 going. So guys are going to try to improve as much as they can for this qualifying 1 because it's pretty important for them to get into qualifying 2. Because it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be the top 15 cars going to qualifying 2 here. So 16th, 17th, and 18th will be starting right from where they are, but we will have the top 15 going on to qualifying 2, and then we have from qualifying 2, it's going to be the top 10 cars going on to qualifying 1 to see what order those top 10 are going to start the race in. So it's pretty interesting when we have a full qualifying going. So let's see how well everyone does with our lap times here. The fastest time we have so far is Beer with a 1:25.8. The guys did say he is someone to be looking out for this weekend to see how well he's going to do. He's going to be probably putting up a pretty good challenge out in front from what the guys do expect. So Let's see if that lap time is going to be the fastest, or if Milan or New Potato or Beefy can get him on that one. We got Milan and New Potato in the 125s as well. Just about, oh, less than a tenth off. That's pretty close. Oh, and it's really so close between New Potato and Milan right now. They're both in 125.8. That was Beer getting out of the way of his teammate there. Pretty good lap time from him as well. That's a 126. We got Jay down 127 and going down to CB with a 128. Trem as well with a 128 here. So quite a few drivers still left to get some time lap times posted in here. If they do want to make it to qualifying too, they're going to have to try as hard as they can here. We still got T-Pound, hasn't made the time as yet. Also a guy to look out for, because he does usually tend to be pretty good in races. Also got Jonathan down there without a lap time as well. They're both on outlaps right now. So let's just have a look at what Jonathan and T-Pound are up to. So I think Jonathan has just begun his hot lap there. He's now going around. Oh, it does look. Oh, so it is Jonathan and T-Pound. They're both teammates in the AlphaTauri. Okay, great. So let's see what these guys can really do, because both of them can drive pretty well. But let's see how they're gonna do in this race. Oh, and Jonathan. Sorry, that's T-Pound. Just losing it just a little bit there. Lost a bit of front wing. Definitely gonna have to change that. This race done is going to be about an hour long. That's going to be after we get finished with qualifying. Those qualifying sessions usually go, I think it's about 18 minutes for qualifying 1, which we're currently on. We got 10 minutes left, or just over 10 minutes left. Qualifying 2 will be after this. That goes for about 15 minutes, I believe, if I'm correct. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong. And qualifying 3 usually lasts about 12 minutes, I believe. So we got to get through all of those sessions, and then we get straight on to the race after that. And that goes for close to about an hour or so. It's a 50% race. There's going to be some maybe different pit stop strategy going. Some guys are going to be doing a 1-stop, some guys are going to be doing a 2-stop. Depends on what tires they're going to be using. This should be a pretty good race. I've been looking forward to this one all week. And where is Batterby? So Batterby has not made a time as yet. We also got Salman, new driver for myself here. We also have Webex. That's another new driver for me here as well. Most of the other guys I'm pretty familiar with. The other racing point, that's I'm not sure how to call that, but we're gonna get a name for it. That's pretty soon. I like the Rainbow and the Williams. It's pretty nice. Alright, so just a few drivers left to still get some lap times in. We got just about 9.5 minutes left in Q1. And that session is going to be over. Top 15 drivers will be moving on to Q2. And let's see how well that goes. Let's go with some overhead views and let's have a look at liveries of these cars. Still, pretty interesting to see. And we have Liverpool, I saw, just joined the session. I'm not sure how well he's going to be getting into it. Hopefully he does get in before the race though, so that will be 19 drivers on track. If we do have one more, then we have a complete full grid, which I'm really looking forward to, because I really want to see if we're going to have a safety car in this race or just a VSC. It does change the, what do you call it? Let's just say it does change a race in certain bits, because it depends when the safety car actually does happen, because it does provide a free pit stop for a lot of drivers, depending, just depending on whatever strategy they're trying to run. So far so good for qualifying 1, with the best time being Beer, which a guy said this guy is pretty good. I haven't seen him drive before, but he does seem to be doing pretty well, because he's edged out Milan, who's usually the fastest guy on track, also along with New Potato and Beefy here. So these guys are gonna have to try their best to qualify better than getting down to Q3 at least. So we got T-Pan going on an out lap right now. So let's just ride aboard just a little bit with him to see how his lap is going. As he's still on an out lap, he'll be starting his out lap pretty soon, going around this final turn here, coming on to the pit straight now. And let's ride aboard with T-Pan for just one quick lap of the Bahrain International Circuit. So it is a desert track, so it's pretty hot here, and it's a night race. So that does help with the tire temperature just a little bit. Coming down to the tricky turn 1, it's a long run from the pit straight coming down when you start the race. And then it's easy to just sometimes lose the back end of the car coming off those few turns there. This is one DRS zone that we have. This track does have 3 DRS zone going down, so that was one of them. These few turns are just a little bit tricky here as well. It is pretty easy to cut the corner and just get a penalty on that, but that's one more thing that we're gonna try to have a look at by the end of the race. Let's see how many drivers are gonna get penalties and if it's really gonna affect their positions at the end, as if we saw in Australia for round 1 last week Saturday. If you didn't have a look at that race, go have a look at it. It is on the channel. I'll probably put a tag on this video for it if you haven't have a look, but it was a pretty good race. The penalties did affect the outcome of the race down at the end, so have a look at that if you wanted to see what happened. It was a pretty good battle going on all the way through the race as well. Oh, you're welcome, Don. And also we have Artness is currently out of the session, probably short in the wall, maybe, or maybe he just retired with a 127 if he was happy with that, but I'm assuming he didn't retire. Probably just broke his front wing, maybe a front wheel or something. It's pretty easy to overcook it and just put it into a wall on this track, even though there's so much of space. Also remember guys, these guys are going to be driving with the pit assist and pit release assist off, so it's pretty easy to get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So T-Pan is up in P14 now with a 128.4. That's about 3 seconds off the leader right now. So he's going to really need to improve on that time to keep himself going into Q2, because he's right on the edge of it with Artness in P15, who has already been knocked out. So CB, Weebags, Liverpool is in the session. Hello Liverpool, glad to have you in here, man. That's we have Night Shadow and Duncan down, making 20 drivers there. So we got a completely full grid. Really amazing to see that happening right now. I was really hoping for that. So 20 drivers will be on track for the race. Everyone's gotten in. Let's see how well this is gonna go. Salman is out now as well. So T-Pan is now up into 13th. Salman and Artness were out of the session at 14th and 15th. So these guys between 16th and 20th now need to make some lap times in to get themselves into Q2. If they can do that, let's see. With just about 4.5 minutes left to go. This is Weebags on his out lap. We have Liverpool still in the pits. He has enough time to go and make a lap here. Night Shadow in his Red Bull. Let's see what he can do. We got New Potato just took pole position here for Q1 with a 125.3. That's about 5/10 better than Beer so far. So Beer still in the pits. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back out or if he's going to say, you know what, I'm happy with that. I'm still P2 for now. We still have 2 more qualifying sessions to go. He probably will just let it be. But let's see what he's going to do. Milan is still there in P3. Beefy in P4. We got Mystic in UP5. He's a pretty good driver as well. Gabba also in P6, MX is P7. Come on MX, we need to see some Ferrari power. I already told you, we expect results. Teammate is up in P3, so let's see how he's going to do in this race. I've been a little bit hard on him for the day so far in terms of results we expect from him. Badby is P8, Jonathan is P9, Jay is in P10, Ace is P11, doing pretty well. T-Pan up to P12. Trem is now out of the session as well. So let's see how many drivers will be advancing. Who's going to be left out of the Q2 session here. Mistaken Youth has retired, probably out of the session. He's probably happy with the time he's pulled. So guys, when you see a driver this highlighted that way that it is on the left side of our screen there, it either means that the driver has It either means they have taken the option of retiring from the session because they're happy with the time they posted, or they have DNF the session, meaning they have crashed their car out and they cannot continue it for the session. So whatever time they have posted will be left on the leaderboard, and if it does take them into Q2, then they will be able to run again. I'm quite sure Beefy has chosen to retire there. He wants to have a look at what everyone else is doing. It's usually what the guys do. So unless we see these guys crash out, we can't say they did. Most of the guys we usually just retire. Especially with it coming to right down to the end of the session. Ace is out as well, keeping his 127. T-Pound is now down to P16. He is in a very dangerous spot here. We got T-Pound, CB, Night Shadow, Duncan, and Liverpool. All might get knocked out of Q2 here. Or getting knocked out of Q1, getting into Q2. Yeah, Don, any details you need, just ask. The other guys are on the chat as well. They will help you out even if I don't see your comment whilst I'm watching the screen. So Beer is a pretty fast guy in that racing point. So it's Red Bull, Racing Point, and a Ferrari for P123 for the qualifying 1 session, which is coming to an end very shortly here. We have been mostly on the onboard cams for the cars going so far. I have actually lowered the volume of the cars just a little bit, guys, just so that you can hear me a little more clearly. And because we were testing a few things last night on, you know, in terms of volume and such. So I just want to make sure that you can hear me clearly. That's why I dunked the volume of the game generally just a little bit more. Because when I go on board, sorry, that was the wrong one. If I do go on board, a car gets pretty loud, and I'm not sure how well you guys can hear me. So just to make sure you can hear me pretty well with the commentary, I just did that. Hopefully you still hear the engines when it's in overview mode going like this. Okay, so this is the end of Q1. Anyone currently running a lap will be able to finish, which it doesn't look like anyone is out. So I think that's gonna be it. We have Liverpool out. I'm not sure if he's still on I think he looks like he is probably on a hot lap here, so that'll probably be his last lap going. So we're just gonna stay on board. Let's go on an overview view with him as he goes around Bahrain, and let's see how this goes. Alright, so most of the guys are retiring out so we can get this session over. I think Liverpool is just finishing up a lap because he hasn't posted a time as yet. He did get in the session pretty late. So let's see what he and that McLaren can do. And he goes 16th with a 128, edging out T-Pound, CB, and Night Shadow. But he's still 16th, so as far as I know, it should be the top 15 drivers going on to Q2. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for this session here. For Q1, we now head on to Q2 as soon as timer finishes the next 1 minute countdown. So the fastest time posted, what, a 125.3 is that? Yes, that is, by New Potato, edging out Beer with a 125.8, Milan with also with a 125.8. And then we have Beefy with a 126 going down the board all the way down to Duncan with a 129. So some pretty different lap times from everyone. Does show you how much these guys do push around the track really to get these lap times in. It is not that easy as it looks. I honestly cannot remember what my time around this track is. I would give you that if I did. I was supposed to check my time trial, but I did not. Anyway, that is the end of qualifying 1, and we head on to qualifying 2 now. Good job from the driver so far. Congratulations to everyone who's going to be making it to qualifying 2. So let's see. This does show what exactly happened. So we had a DNF from Salman, Artemis, and Trem. DNF from Duncan. I do see 12 drivers highlighted. Let's see what happens here as we move on to the next session. Okay, so it is 12 drivers moving on. My bad on that one. Alright, so it's about 15 minutes for this session. Let's see how well the guys are going to do here. So just 12 drivers moving on here. A little bit different from our career mode, I guess. Let's get stats back on screen. And let's see what's going to happen. As we do see, there is a different mix of tires being chosen here, because whatever tire you do the fastest lap in Q2 with is what you're going to be starting the race with, as far as we know. So some of the guys are going to be choosing to start on mediums possibly here, while some of them will be doing with the softs. And let's see how many drivers are going to make it to Q1. So online session seems to be just a little bit different compared to career, because of I think this is the first time I'm doing a stream where we're doing a full qualifying for an online race. So it's interesting to see how many drivers are moving on actually. So let's get that underway and let's see what we have going. We have Battery on his outlap in that Williams going right now. I think that was Battery with a purple sector 1. Let's see how well he does going on this lap. Just riding on board with him as he does finish his lap coming down here. And that is Battery with a 128. Let's see how well that times holds up, as the other guys are going to be starting to put some times down. Milan is an out lap. Beefy is probably running his out lap coming down here now. Let's see what time he does get posted. And that's a 129, so Battery still holds P1 for now. So let's call that professional P1 because he's not going to be holding it if someone gets a faster time going. We got Jay with a 128.5, going better than Beefy right now. Bata also with a 126.6 in that racing point. Pretty good. Alright, let's see who is next to post a lap time. I think we guys might be on a hot lap going here. Weebags might be driving manual gears. Hopefully he's not having trouble with them there, shifting. And he goes with a 135.6. Not a pretty good lap. He's going to be really need to improve on that one because he's seconds off of the guys on the leaderboard right now. Milan has spun it, so his lap time there is not going to be anything pretty good. Let's see what else. Beer is in P3 now with a 127.1. Some pretty interesting times going here. So both racing points are P1, P3, now P4. Ace is a P3 now with a 126. Interesting to see what Milan and MX are going to do in that those Ferrari powers, and waiting for a new potato to actually post a time here as well. Mistaking you pretty good driver. Let's see what time he does get on the board as soon as they get up. We have just over 7.5 minutes left in this session here though, so they do need to get a move on with it. So just MX, New Potato, and Mistaking You, three great drivers, waiting for them to post some lap times. Milan hasn't posted very fast time. It was only 145 because he spun it on that one. So Bata also with a 126.6. And forgive me if I do call any driver's name incorrectly, as I'm new with a few drivers here. But pretty good in that racing point, man. Bata also 126.6, currently holding P1 for this qualifying session that we are going with here. Mistaken Youth now up to a 127.2 in P5. Jonathan has done pretty well with his 126.9. But Ace is just less than a tenth off from him there. Alright, so we got Milan and New Potato on their outlap right now. Let's see what New Potato is up to. He has a few more turns before he does begin his hot lap. Beefy is on an outlap as well because he's not going to be satisfied with a 129.6. Definitely not going to be happy with that. He's going to be going for another run. Also, guys, do take note that some of the drivers have been qualifying on mediums, while some of them have been qualifying on softs. And Milan just put the fastest time in on medium tires with a 126.5. That is pretty good. Good job on him so far. But let's see, we still have New Potato yet to make a time here. So let's see when he does get that done. MX is, I think he's running a hot lap here on softs right now. It is so difficult to use so much of the track as these guys are doing here. I'm still yet to master how they do this. It is not easy because it is so easy to just cut a corner and just get a penalty on every track basically. Alright, come on MX, let's see for some Ferrari power here. Let's see what you can do. So Wayback is out of the session with a 127.3. Let's see how well that's going to work for him. If he can make it into the next session with that. Alright MX, now that is pretty good. He is P1 with a 126.5 right next to his teammate there. Now that's a good lap from him. Now that's what we like to see. He's going to be pretty happy with that one. I'm quite sure he's smiling right now. So MX in P1 with a 126.5. His teammate right there in P2 with a 126.5 as well. Just under 3.5 minutes left in this qualifying session to see who's going to make it over to Q1 and then on to the start of this round 2 Bahrain Grand Prix out here in the desert. I think it's going to be a pretty good race, but let's see how this qualifying shapes up. Beefy is yet to improve on that 127. I'm quite sure he can do much better than that. He is probably frustrated with that time right now. Battery down with a 128. Jay with his 128.5. Little Potato is up into P4 with a 126.8. And Bappa also with 126.6. He is P3. Beefy is currently running a hot lap, so let's follow that Renault around the track as he goes. So this stream is going to be just a little bit longer than our usual esports race streams, just because we're doing the full qualifying, guys. And that is Beefy into the pits. Hopefully he has enough time to come out back and get a lap time in. Otherwise, that's going to be his starting position there. And he is out of the session. He has retired, so he's going to take his P10 if he does hold it until the end of the session. We got Beer on an outlap right now. I don't think he's happy with that P7. It's a 127.1, but he's going to want to try and improve on it as much as he can going through the session here. Because as we've seen, guys, it's not the same as when you're doing the career mode for the amount of drivers that are making it into the next qualifying session. So we have 12 drivers in Q2. Let's see how many drivers do go on to Q1. So quite a few drivers are retiring from the session, guys. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so let's see what has changed because I had my eye off the screen for just a second. I was just looking something up. Alright, so MX still does hold P1. Good job on him. And Milan for getting P1, P2. That's a front row lockout so far, but we still have qualifying 3 to go here. So let's see how these guys are going to do going into that session. So it's 2 Ferraris, a Racing Point, and a Haas in P4. That's Jay. Got a Red Bull in P5. Alright, that's the end of Q2, guys. We'll be heading on straight into Q3 and then on to the race. Don't worry if you're a little hesitant in waiting. We're almost to the race session, guys. We do have to go through these sessions. It does determine how the drivers are going to start the race. Thank you to everyone watching. Thanks for everyone who left a like on the video. Appreciate it, guys. Alright guys, so as it stands, we have Milan starting on mediums, Beer starting on mediums, Beefy, and well, let's see how many guys if Beefy and Battery don't get into Q, well, it doesn't look like they'll be getting into Q1 here, so they're gonna have a free choice of tires. We do have to wait for that little counter that says time remaining 22 seconds to count down to the end of the session for us. So let's have that happening. Sorry, my mic wasn't on, I was talking. Yes, so it's going to be 10 drivers moving on to qualifying 1, as we can see here. So Beefy and Badby get a free choice of tires to start the race, but it's going to be Milan, New Potato, Beer, and Mistaken Youth starting on those mediums. And on to Q3 we go, guys. It's going to be a pretty interesting qualifying tree. Let's see how well this goes. Because it's 2 Ferrari and a Racing Point for P1, 2, and 3. Alright guys, so we are on the way now for the final qualifying session. 12 minutes to go in this session, and let's see how well the guys are going to do here. Remember, it is now limited time. There's only so many laps you can actually do running in Q3, so they are going to need to get out there and really post some fast times. So Beer was the first car actually to get out on track for the out lap. So let's see how they go do with this one. Okay, so let's see what is going on track right now. So we should start to see sometimes being posted here pretty soon, within under a minute actually. Let's see if Beer is going to be the first guy here to post a lap time. Using up a lot of that curb going onto the pit straight here. And that is a 125.6 if I'm seeing that correctly. New Potato with a 125.7. 1/10 off. Mistaken Youth with a 126. There's about 3/10 off there. So Beer currently professional P1. Where is Milan coming around? Let's see him, what he's gonna get. They are gonna have enough time to get another run in if they do need to do that. And that's Milan with P1. That's a 125.4. It's a little difficult to see sometimes because it's in purple. Weebabs with a 126.8. And Johnson. Batpose is still in the pits. MX is out. J is out. MX is coming around to the last corner here now. I think Ace just posted a time of 127.1. Let's see what MX is gonna get. Come on, MX, let's have a repeat. That is P6 with a 126.8. So Milan doing pretty good with these soft tires here. He does have the fastest time so far. Has beaten Beer in that racing point for P1 there. Just under 7 minutes left here, guys. We have Jonathan and Bataus and Jay to post some times in. Let's see, they're still in the pits. So they have to get out here and start getting some times on track. This is going to be Milan going into the pits. He's going to be pretty happy with that time right now. He's probably going to just have a look out on track from his garage there. And let's see if anyone does beat him with that to P1. And he's going to probably get out back just before the end of the session to post another time, just in case he does lose his professional P1 pole for the start of this race. Now remember, guys, these top 10, they are all going to be starting on a different set of tires here. Some are going to be on soft, some are going to be on mediums, which means they'll be running pretty different strategies compared to each other. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in terms of the race. Because remember, strategy is a little bit key to running a race on Bahrain, whether you're doing a one-stop or a two-stop. And if you're starting, does happen from time to time. But yeah, as we were saying, you guys should still be able to hear me. It does depend on what strategy you're running in the race, because a one stop will save you some time from doing another stop. Of course, you'll be on a bit of slower tires going, because if you're running medium hards, or if you're going to be able to run a soft to hard, then that's going to be pretty good. We have extra invites to join the session very quickly back, so no need to worry, guys. If we do get disconnected during the race, we'll be back on within a snap, because it does happen from time to time. I did restart the PS4, reset everything before I started the session, but it still does happen from time to time. Can't avoid it. All you can do is just complain, but how much can you really complain? So yeah, guys, we're still in qualifying 3 right now. Final qualifying session, and then we'll be straight onto the race. It's just about 4 minutes left. Haas does have a pretty nice livery this year. At first I wasn't too much a fan of it, but it's fine. It does look pretty good. Does look like Bad Rose is running he's on outlap still. So our last 3 guys, 8, 9, and 10, are still yet to post some times in here. So I know quite a few of the drivers are going to be watching the race as they drive. Guys, please don't get distracted as you drive. I know some drivers it might tend to happen to you if you're listening to the stream while you're driving in the race, that is. You might get distracted, even, especially if I say I'm riding aboard your car. Please don't feel, obligated to pull off any fancy moves for us. Just drive your race and keep it clean out there. Just saying for all the drivers, because these guys are pretty good on track. They've been pretty good so far through all the qualifying sessions. We can see what they can do. We want to see what you guys can do in the race. So it's going to be a pretty good race going through. I don't have the option of seeing if we're going to have a dry race or a wet race or maybe some drizzle down to the end or whatever it is. But when we do get to the session, we will see. Let's keep our viewers entertained for that one at least. But I'm hoping probably just a dry race all the way through. But I'm quite sure we will be having some wet races through the season as we go. The game does usually provide that to you. We got Milan and Beer both on outlaps again. Oh, and New Potato P2 125.4, 1/10 off of Milan right now. It was still in P1, but Beer is out on his outlap. Mistaken Youth is on an outlap. These guys are going to try and get a much faster time if they can. Mistaken Youth is in 126. He's going to try and get him to 125. Hopefully he can do that for him. Ace is out of the session. He is retired from the session. That was with a 126.9, not pretty high up. He is P8 only with that one. We got Jonathan coming in with his AlphaTauri, and let's see what time he posts through this. And he does put a 127.9, not fast enough. There's just under a minute left in the session. That's going to be it for Jonathan there. He's not going to be able to post another time in. He'll be starting P10th. So as positions stand, guys, let's see if it's going to stay this way. We do have Beer and Mistaken Youth both on outlaps here. Okay, so Beer is in front of Mistaken Youth going around the track right now. Beer has just messed up that turn just a little bit. They're losing just a little bit of time. He has retired from the session. Does mess that up just a little bit. We got Mistaken Youth still going at it here. He is on a hot lap going. So this is going to be it for qualifying 3, guys. The final table will come up and show us the starting grid as they do get on through it. This turn is always so tricky to get. That is the one and only famous turn 10. Also, thanks to everyone who has shared the stream link on their personal social media or everywhere and wherever they can, because we have had quite a number of viewers come onto the stream so far. So that's Mistaken Youth still in P4 there. Let's see if he gets a better time out of this. And just a little bit better, but not good enough to take him out of P4. So it does look like positions will stay as it is. So it looks like we're going to have Milan, New Potato and Beer, P1, 2 and 3. Mistaken Youth is P4, MX is P5, J is going to be P6, Weebags P7, Bad Bros is P8, Ace is P9, and Jonathan down in P10. That's your top 10 starting, guys. It does seem like it will be staying that way, because the time is now up for the entire session, and it doesn't look like anyone else is running a lap still. That is it for qualifying, and we will be getting straight into the race. I haven't heard any more news as yet in terms of the Coastmasters are going to be putting the Black Mercedes into PS4 for us. But if not, we're gonna have to deal with that. That's fine. So Jonathan starting on mediums well, sorry, not starting on mediums. That was pre Q2, sorry. But he did run on mediums here. He probably didn't have any fresh softs left to run with, or probably left it for the race. So it's Milan P1, New Potato P2, Beer in P3, Mistaken U P4, MX P5, JP6, Weebax P7, Bapos P8, Aces P9, and Jonathan P10. And the rest of the grid, we do know them as they are because they were left in the positions that they were left out on the previous qualifying sessions from. So let's get on to our race session and let's see how well this goes. Formation lap will be on, so the guys will be doing that lap first before we get on to the first lap of the race. And let's see how the run down to turn 1 goes for this. So on to formation lap here, guys. Cars will be getting out on track. So officially it is we're at the Bahrain International Circuit. So track has about 15 corners. I think it's 7 to the left and 8 to the right. Track distance is about 3.362 miles. There's 3 DR zones on this track, as you would have seen with the drivers going around it. First one is between the final turn and turn 1. There's one between turns 3 and 4, and between turns 10 and 11 is the final DRS zone. So this is going to be a night race. Track is illuminated by about 500 light posts, I believe. Will be a pretty good race though. A lot of room compared to Singapore, where we have our next night race coming up later down in the season. And here we go, guys. They will be off on the formation lap. So we have a full grid of 20 drivers with Milan starting P1. So there are your order as you do see them there. So it's Milan in P1, New Potato P2, Beer, Mistaken Youth, MXJ, Weebags, Batposa, and we do have that new feature coming up to show the predicted pit stop strategy. So if it's going to be a one stop, it's going to be medium hards, or it could be, if they're starting soft, they could do a soft medium hard or a soft medium medium. I'm not sure what the strategy was showing at the bottom of the screen just a second ago, but I'm just, just suggesting what I know off of these races. That's usually what a strategy you would use. It's either a medium hard, soft medium medium, or soft medium soft if you can pull that off. And sometimes it depends on the track. There is a possibility of pulling off a soft to hard, so just doing a one stop on that. So let's see what strategy these guys are going to be going with as they race. Of course, drivers have already selected their strategy pre-race here, meaning as just before they get onto the formation lap, they do select their race strategy, how much fuel they actually put into the car, if they're using a direct amount of fuel for the 29 laps. Some drivers do go just a little bit over fuel, some under fuel their car. Of course, that means that you will need to manage your fuel as you race. Now we got T-Pound down into P16 there. He is a guy to be watching in this race because he does tend to gain a lot of position. Also CB down with P17. So we're going to keep an eye out on these guys and let's see how they do. Liverpool joined the session pretty late. He is all the way down in P20 at the back. I think that's where he said he'll be starting. But let's see how he's going to do as well. There it comes up again. So drivers just warming their tires up as much as they can before they get back to the starting grid. Once again, I'll be saying it, every driver in the race currently who is watching the stream, please guys be focused on your race and not so much on what I'm saying on the stream. Because there is a possibility that the stream might be just maybe a few seconds delay coming to you. Depends on your end in the speed or whatever. But just have a good race, guys. Good luck to all the drivers, and let's see how this one goes. Let's see if we're going to have any safety car, if we're going to have any rain coming down later in the race, or what's going to happen here. That's the racing point of Beer down into P3 currently. This is Milan in P1. Alright guys, the lights are going to start to go out now. And that is it, guys. They are off. Let's see how this is going to go going down to turn 1. Mistaken Youth is getting a pretty good go going on to turn 1 here, trying to get some positions done. He's probably going to stay behind of Beer, and Irish New Potato does get a move done on him back. Does go a little wide though, so he does hold P3 going. A lot of positions changing on track. As you can see, everyone going a little bit wide off the racing line right now, just trying to get positions as much as they can. So there are going to be multiple changes happening right now. Milan still holds the lead out in front. Beer has moved from P2 to P3. Mistaken Youth is up to P3 right now. New Potato in P4 going currently. But let's see where everyone is going to be down at the end of lap 1. That's a Haas going wide there. I think they get back on track pretty safely. I think that was probably J. We do have our first virtual safety car, guys, so I did call this one. We do have a VSC into lap 1. So an incident has occurred somewhere, probably not severe enough that we need an actual safety car. Alright guys, so virtual safety car, which means the cars will have to decrease speed to a certain percentage, and everyone will be, so Jay just got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, which you cannot do, and we are back to racing here, guys. Everyone is going to be going for a move, because cars are pretty close together going. This is lap 3. I think someone has been disconnected in that racing point. As they go around the first few turns here. Ace has seemed to lost the position there. He's down in P10 currently. Duncan just gained 1 off. Okay, so we got a few guys in the pits. We got T-Pound, Trem, and Duncan in the pits right now. So something has happened to the guys down at the back, which means why they have pitted probably, or they have just chosen to try and take a free pit stop. So Milan still holds the lead out front with a 1.2 second gap up of Beer right now. Mistaken Youth is pretty close to him though, close to Beer that is, in that racing point, because he's just under a second right now going. Ace is now up to P5. We have a safety car. MX does seem to be out of the session. Alright guys, it does seem that MX is out of the session. There was an incident with MX, so he is out. We have a safety car, which means everyone will be trying probably to take a pit stop if they do need to repair any damage and change anything on track. Let's go on to our leader, Milan. Let's see if he can get past. Let's see who's in front going, because I do think the car of MX is on track still. We might be able to see what happened to him. Maybe let's have a look coming around the few corners here, because I do see a car showing on track, but I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh, that is a safety car, my bad. Alright, Mistaken Youth, keep behind your safety car and go down, do not overtake. So some of the cars have changed over to the hard tires. Let's see if they can go all the way to the end on those. So strategy is going to be a little important here, guys. So I did call maybe we would have a VSC or a safety car. We have had both. We have both a virtual safety car and the actual safety car within the first 3 laps of this race. Pretty interesting race so far. And pretty interesting start to the positions here, because we have Beefy already all the way up to P3. Mistaken Youth is now P1. New Potato is P2. Beefy holds P3. Artness is P4. Haven't talked much of this guy for the race so far. Batterby up in P5. And my good old friend Liverpool, he is all the way up into P6. And this guy started P20 yet. Imagine that. Now he's having a pretty good race out here. CB as well started way down at the back. And he is up in P7. Unfortunately, T-Pound started at the back. He is still down there, down in P17. We got Night Shadow up here to P8. Milan is now down into P9 with a pit stop that he just did. Beer as well took a pit stop. He is in P10. Salman holds P11. Jay is in P12. Jonathan P13. We have Ace P14. Bad Barrels to P15. Weebax P16. As we said, T-Pound is now down to P17. Trem is P18. Duncan is P19. And MX is definitely out of the session there. That's what's called that safety car incident. I'm not sure if I can get MX to join our chat here so we can have a word with him and have him stay on for the rest of the session. I did send him an invite just in case he needs to get on, but we'll have a look in a second. I'm not sure if that party is still going. But as we are under the safety car, guys, we are still going on lap 2 with the safety car here. So I'm just going to get off screen for just a second and let's see if we can get MX online. Oh, perfect. We have him on. MX, how is it going? What happened in that race there?
Just lost it coming out of the turn. And
oh, man.
The second I tried to back away from the wall, it just ripped my front wheel off. So, you know, it is what it is. I was really happy with the qualifying, and
yeah, I was saying on stream, you did pretty well in qualifying there, but unfortunately, I was sorry to see you out of the race, man. But it's good to have you on the stream with me. I just want to take. I just have to make sure that your setting is set so that it allows the audio to go out to the stream. I'm not sure if your setting has allowed it, but hopefully everyone does hear it on the stream. But I'm just going to ask on stream if everyone can hear. Someone should post a message if they don't hear you, but I think you should be fine. But as we're going, we're still on the safety car going, so I did call it for this one. We probably have a VSC or a safety car, but we have had both in the first 3 laps, so a pretty interesting start so far.
I was really looking forward to this, you know, but yeah. It happens, you know, it's kind of part of racing.
Yeah, it does happen. I mean, it depends on what situation it does happen with. I know sometimes it might be, you know, a little bit frustrating, but it's racing, it does happen a lot, and we're going to have the safety car come in on this lap here. So we'll be getting back to racing, and our viewers can hear you, so I do have confirmation of that. That's pretty good.
Oh, good. It's we're pretty proud today to have all 20 of these drivers show up, and you know we've scoured other leagues and raced with all these guys so many times, and you know the trials and just finding the cleanest, fastest drivers we could for this league. And it's I think we hit our mark here.
Yeah, I think you definitely did, and we are back racing here now. I was really happy when I saw 20 drivers join this session. It was amazing to see that. So let's see how this session is going to continue now that we're back racing. I think I just saw Red Bull go wide. That was New Potato. Beefy got him. He's up in the P2 now. I got Milan working his way up the field right now as well. Beer has lost just a few positions there.
Beer has left. He's lost the left front end plate on his wing.
Oh man, that's gonna be a little bit difficult to control on some of these turns here. I mean, it's fine driving if you're doing some regular driving with these cars, but these are F1 racing cars. It's not easy controlling them, even with just a little bit of yellow damage, when you're competing against guys that are just as fast as you or even faster. So many close gaps right now. It's hard to tell which one to follow here, but I'm just slipping through to everyone, just having a look to see what's happening on track, really, because we want to just catch as much of the battles as we can. Some pretty close gaps going on midfield right now. Got a few guys in the pits. We might have had a little bit of an incident with them, or maybe they're just changing for the damage that they had before. just after we had the restart, because you know, after safety cars, everyone just tries to get as much move as done as they can. It does result in a bit of damage sometimes. Yeah, we have
Pretty
Salmon changing his
nerve-wracking.
front wing. Yeah, it is.
Off that safety car, everybody's back bunched up again, and it's, you know, it's about as hair raising as going into turn one on the first lap. And I was pretty proud of everybody today for sure. It was pretty damn clean going into turn one.
Yeah, it was. It is always interesting when we have a safety car in a race, because you know it proves to be an advantage to some drivers, but then it's also a disadvantage to other drivers, especially if you've just taken a pit stop and you know, and then just a lap or two after you're having a safety car and it's like, oh, I should have waited. You know, you would have gotten a free pit stop, but then you have to just go with whatever is happening on track and just adjust to it. It's also interesting to see how well drivers do adjust to change their strategy. Because we all know it. Jeff is not useful this year in 2020 in terms of changing your strategy.
He says, I got a new strategy for you. You hit it, and it's the same strategy you were already on.
Yeah. I don't even bother looking at that anymore if I'm doing the career mode. And New Potato just got P2 off of Beefy back, just down into turn one. Good job on him going so far. These guys are pretty much going to be fighting it out. They're going to be taking the battle to mistaken youth out front just pretty soon though, because he's just 1.4 seconds out in front of them.
Got Milan back here overtaking Artanis for, oh, he still hasn't got the move made. It's close. You got Batterby and Liverpool fan right there, all four of them together. Oh, Milan is now taking fifth. Batterby's up to fifth. Artanis is down to sixth. You were right there, way too many battles on the track to even try to keep up with them all.
I know what's happening. Yeah, I was just trying to follow Liverpool here as well, as you were calling that out, just so the viewers can have a look at what is it it's happening on track. Because I usually just use the gap that whoever has the closest gap, so I know exactly where to, you know, go and look and have what's happening. Because out front, gap seems to be building just a little bit for the moment, at least.
Mistaken Youth has been driving really well here lately.
I'm surprised to see him out front and keeping that pole position so far. That's Artanis going just a little bit wide. Oh, and that's him and Liverpool. They're into the wall. That's going to be them out. That's a VSC there. I'm not sure if we're going to end up having a full safety car, but that's a virtual safety car there. Oh, and we have Alfa Romeo has the cars double stacked in the pits right now, because Weavax was waiting on Ace to get out of the pit stop, and now he's in.
That's going to cost both of them quite a bit of time.
That's going to cost both of them some time.
You know, 6-7 second loss just in the pits right there.
And Ace might have been changing his front wing there as well, so that's going to take up just a little bit more time. He had to wait there. So still under the VSC going here. We have Mistaken You still holding that pole position. I got Beefy just trying to get the gap down from New Potato right now. Gap is barely under a second, but he's going at it. So Milan has worked his way back up to P4. So some of these drivers are still new to me here, MX, but they're driving pretty well. I got this guy in the Racing Point, Bad Perosa. I'm not sure exactly how to call his name. Hopefully I got it right for him, but he's been driving pretty well, even going into qualifying, getting into this race, because he's running P7 right now.
He's an extremely good driver, very, very quick. I've raced with him quite a few times in other places. He decided to fill in for us in a reserve role this weekend. Could possibly wind up into a full seat. You just never know.
Yeah, because he's actually driving pretty well in this race. But let's see how he finishes with this one. Also keeping an eye out on, where is he? T-Pound. P9 right now. This guy started way down at the back. He had to take an early pit stop. I think he had some damage, but he's running pretty well. CB as well is running now P8. Because both, I know both T-Pang and CB were down, way down at the back when they started this race. But they're driving pretty well, up a lot of positions there right now. Artness had that incident with Liverpool. He is currently in P11.
He's got some damage on that car. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to end up, coming in to get that damage fixed.
Definitely will have to.
Just taking a look, I'm not really seeing much damage on his car.
Are we talking about Artness? Yes, I'm not seeing any damage on Artness's end plates as well. So it's interesting to see that, because I didn't see him go into the pits after that incident. He just drove by and continued on. So we got a pretty close gap out front between Mistaken Youth and Irish New Potato right now. That Red Bull has gotten pretty close to that Mercedes. Let's see what they're going to do here. But he's going to need a pretty clean pass to get this done, because I don't think Mistaken Youth is going to just give him an easy pass here.
Actually surprised my teammate Alon Malgo seems to be losing a little bit of time to the leaders here.
Yes, he does, because he is about 4.2 seconds behind Beefy right now. Beefy is trying to catch up with P1 and P2, just trying to get in on that battle, but he has about a second is the gap right now for him. I'm also trying to have a look at to see if his Battery and Jonathan are going to be catching up to Milan pretty soon. I'm not sure, does Milan have any damage? No, he doesn't. I don't see any damage on his front wing going through there. That is New Potato with a 3-second penalty. Also going to be interesting to see how well penalties work out down to the end of this race. Because, as we saw in Australia, it really did affect the race down at the end with our front runners who are fighting for P1. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out down at the end. We're on lap 11 running right now.
New Potato has taken the lead.
There we go. He has gotten that move done. Mistaken Youth is right on his tail, trying to go on the outside right now. Let's see if he can get that done. No, he doesn't. He'll have to stay in P2 for now. He'll be looking for another gap here pretty soon, though. We have Salman Malgo with a fastest lap so far. Anything you can tell me about this driver, MX? Because he's pretty new to me as well. But he did just post the fastest time.
That is actually Walker, who is, he's been part of the league since the beginning, and he had to use a different PSN account today to get in.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm familiar with Walker and his driving. I know he's a pretty good driver here as well. But I didn't realize that was his account. But I did see that he was supposed to race today, but I didn't see his name. I didn't catch it at the same time. But thanks for pointing that out. So that is Walker going Salman Malgo 2020. But let's see what he can do. He's usually running, with the guys out in front, coming to the end of the race at least. But let's see how he performs today here. So he is here. Yeah.
The ones I think I'm watching out here for are the guys like Jonathan Duncan, 7th, T-Pound back there in 10th. And then you got Baruza and Jay Hartnell. All those guys are on the hard tires. I think they're looking to go to the end because the mediums are not going to be able to stretch to the end of this race. So
absolutely,
those guys
yeah.
on mediums are definitely going to have to hit again, but those guys on the hard tires, they've got a bit of an advantage there on that pit stop.
Yes, they do, because they are going to be making up time when everyone in front of them does do a pit stop here, because these guys are pretty good drivers, and even if the tires start to get pretty worn out, they can actually still push it. They can know how to conserve their tires and do that. But our boys out in front, they're definitely going to have to take another pit stop, because the tires, let's see, for the top 3, the tires are 11 laps old already, and we're on lap 12, so definitely they're not going all the way to the end on those. But it does depend, though, how many seconds back is T-Pound from our leader there. But actually, I don't think he's gonna be too far off. He's gonna be getting on the fight for P1 out in front. Hopefully here, himself and CB and Jonathan as well. The CB is still on mediums here though, because he's gonna have to take another pit stop. But let's see how well he does. I'm not sure what strategy Trem is running down in P17 there, but he is currently on the soft tires. I got bad pose behind Batterby right now. He might be getting DRS.
Trem may be on a soft, medium pit strategy.
It might be possible, yeah. Alright, so we got Mistaken Youth and FIFA Beefy in the pits.
They're both coming out on hard tires.
Yep. So that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the last pit stop for them. They're gonna have to work their way back up now, as the front guys are still gonna have to pit.
I'm just wondering how long Irish can hold out and make the medium tires last.
It's going to be interesting because his tires are 12 laps old and Milan is on 9 laps old tires there. So let's see, is it going to be an undercut or an overcut happening here? I'm not sure, but one of these guys are going to have to pit first. But let's see how long he's going to hold out on those tires, or if Milan is going to go in before him. I'm not sure, but Milan should have just a little bit more pace compared to Irish New Potato here in terms of tire life, depending on how much he's pushing with that car right now. That's Mistaken Youth up one position there, the P6 now.
But just knowing my teammate, I know how he drives, but you know, mid times in the race when he knows there's not a chance of an overtake in sight right now, he likes to conserve his tires, he likes to conserve his fuel at that point, and you know, just try to keep that car to where he has everything to fight with at the end.
Yes, he does. And we have Battles just took P3 off of Batterby here, going down to turn 1. Let's see if he's going to hold it. It does look like he will. Yes, he does. So that Williams of Batterby is going to have to stay in P4 for now. Beefy is working his way up as well. So is T-Pound, currently in P8. Night Shadow is in the pits. He's going to be coming out to pretty more down in the list here.
Just looking at the time deltas, it's looking like Mistaken Youth and FIFA may have pulled a decent undercut on Irish New Potato for the net P1.
They might have. He is going to have to be careful with this because he's going to have to push pretty hard in terms of getting in that pits and getting out in front of them. But let's see how this is going to go down.
You know, sitting in the driver's seat right now for the net P1 after pit stops, I'm going to have to say is actually Jonathan Dunk on those 10-lap-old hards.
True, very true. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with New Potato and Milan here because they do have to take that pit stop at some point. But just wondering though, MX, how possible is it for... Okay, so Milan is in the pits. He is going in. So he probably be doing a hards all the way at the end. But I was just going to ask, how many laps can Softs run on this track here?
You're looking at maybe 8, 9 laps pushing it. And that's about as far as you're going to get on the soft tires.
Because I was just wondering if Irish New Potato was about to try and just push those mediums all the way to maybe lap 19-20 and then just go to softs and have enough pace to push to the end. Because the rest of the guys going to be hard, their tires are going to be a little bit worn off. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to push it that much. Being that Milan, your teammate just went in and changed off to hards, he's going to have to think what he's going to do next year now. And he doesn't even have any ERs left. He's using everything he has right now, pushing as hard as he can on this lap. So he might be coming in here. We're not sure as yet.
I would think at this point on those medium tires, he's you know, he had a couple laps in qualifying on those tires in Q2, so he's those tires should be getting pretty worn about right now.
Yeah, well, he definitely is coming inside the pits right now.
Now, Mistaken Youth is coming into the last turn right now. Going to see if they've made that undercut here.
And we have Bad also in a Racing Point going into the pits as well. So that's Jonathan getting past there. And now Jonathan is now P1 going. His tires are 12 laps old.
And Mistaken Youth has made the undercut.
There we go. And so let's see where Beefy is. Beefy is behind Irish New Potato.
So he has successfully gained time on FIFA. He caught up about 4 seconds during all that pit stop.
Definitely today he is currently right behind the tail of him. He's going to be catching and getting DRS pretty soon to try and get a move done here. But looking at the driving style of these guys, they do take pretty different lines going to most of these turns here. So it is interesting to see who's going to come out on top here. Good move on Milan to just getting to that break very quickly there. He could have just ended up in the back of BV. But we have a VSC because something has happened down somewhere along this track, which I'm not sure. Probably with Duncan.
Yeah. Just at the start of Sector 3, we have lost Dunkin' Donuts.
There we go. Yeah, I saw that happen there. So quite a few penalties I've noticed at the bottom of the screen here just being served out to some of these guys. So at the end we'll have a look and see exactly what has happened, and you know how much of them in the front running in the front are going to get penalties and affect that position that they get. Of course that affects the points that they get as well. But we're on lap 17 going. VSC is over now. We're back racing. But MX, what do you think? Who do you have in mind for driver of the day so far?
Driver of the day right now would, it's kind of a toss-up here between, Jonathan Dunk and T-Pound right now, especially T-Pound.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing right now.
Outside of the top 15, he didn't even make it out of Q1, so right now he would be really, I think, the driver of the day.
I would assume so as well, but let's see if Jonathan can keep P1 down to the end of the race, and let's see what happened between the two of them, between himself and T-Pound. Who's going to get this? Because T-Pound has driven pretty well from all the way down at the back, getting off to P7, and he's not done as yet, because he's right behind Salmon Mango. That's Walker right there. So he's behind Walker going, and he might be able to get a move done in the next few laps. Let's see, but it depends if he's going to get DRS and stuff here. But it's Walker, sorry, he's on medium, so he's definitely gonna have to take another pit stop probably here because his tires are 10 laps old. I don't think he'll be able to push it all the way to the end because they're gonna get pretty worn. He's gonna lose a lot of grip, and T-Pound should be able to get a move done either way there. So let's see what happens as we go into lap 18, I guess, here now, or we're still on lap 17 here. Yes, lap 18.
Jonathan Dunk has come into the pits.
Alright, so he has taken out a pit stop, so he is going to be running mediums going down to the end. But let's see where he comes out. If he does, with that pit stop that he took, that does put T-Pound in the running for a driver of the day here.
T-Pound has also gone into the pits now.
Oh really? Now that is interesting.
Fresh medium tires.
Now T-Pound is a guy known for gaining a lot of positions in just a very short amount of time, but let's see what he can pull off in the next few laps because he's still going to be running. He's coming out in P10. Yes, that's correct, P10. So let's see what he's going to be doing. Of course, he has quite a bit of a gap for the cars in front of him here, so he has to just do a little bit of catching up.
And we have lost Jay Hartwell now, coming out of the last turn in Sector 3.
Yes, I do see him on the corner there of that wall. Probably did lose it on that one there.
Jay's one of the most consistent drivers. He usually doesn't
I'm
Wasn't
actually,
crash
yeah,
out or
I'm actually
DNF.
pretty surprised that he DNF'd the session because he's usually a pretty good driver. We have a virtual safety car for that incident with Jay. And T-Pan with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC.
You know, this actually really helps a lot of people, though. The one person I see that's helping, just kind of watching their lap times, is Walker there in fifth. And he's going to basically get a free pit stop. Oh, virtual safety car is over.
Oh, that was quick. That was actually a quick VSC happening there. It was quick and went off. But he didn't take a pit stop on that one. He's still going, which means he'll still have to pit on that one. But let's see how this is going to turn out. Because if he does pit, that's going to put Beer up into P5. We got Ace. T-Pound is in the pits again. Is that correct?
He is, I believe he's...
oh, the drive-through
serving
penalty,
drive-throughs.
yes. I forgot about that. So he's going to serve that drive-through penalty now, rather than have the time be added to him. But
Must have been
you,
speeding in your
yeah.
virtual safety car.
Yeah, he did. But I think when you have a drive-through penalty, with this amount of lap left, I think you have about 3 laps to go in and serve it. You cannot leave it for the end of the race. Is that true? I think that's correct, right?
That is very
yeah.
true. Actually, on 2019, I was disqualified from a race for having to drive through that I completely forgot about.
Yeah, it is pretty easy to forget about it. You know, you're concentrating on the race and like, okay, I'll go in the next lap or the other one. And by the time you realize it, you just went past your last try to go in, and then you just get disqualified for doing that.
And the crazy part is it was actually at Bahrain in a different league. And I was leading the race. It came up on my screen, and Jeff told me as soon as I came out of the last turn, pit this lap or you're disqualified. And by the time I realized it, I had already went past the pit lane.
Well, it was too late for that one.
Retired. It's fun. Maybe one of these days I'm going to be able to actually finish one of my own league races.
Hopefully you will. We have about 9 laps remaining on this one for 29 laps. So let's see how well it's gonna go out here.
Smooth Potato has definitely been gaining a lot of ground on the leader.
Yeah, Nude Potato is getting pretty close to Mistaken Youth right now. Let's see. How would you say Milan will be able to catch him? He's about 3.8 seconds down right now.
He is. You know, at the pace Milan is catching him, but I'm just not sure he has enough laps at this point to get up there and give these guys a fight unless they actually start fighting amongst each other. That'll definitely give him an opportunity to catch up.
Very true. But let's see how the battle between Mistaken Youth. Oh, Nude Potato has gotten past. I'm not following the battle out in front, but let's see.
That was an excellent defense by Mistaken Youth coming out of turn 2 there. You got to watch this crafty Irish Nude Potato. He's one of the oldest guys in the league, and he's very, very experienced. You know, he is league champion in a few other leagues. He's one of the smartest racers I think I've ever raced against.
Yeah, he's been consistently very fast for the races I've seen with him so far. But I gotta say, Mistaken Youth has been driving pretty well in this race. A lot of improvement from him driving. It's pretty good to see him out in front. But let's see if Nude Potato can bring the battle up to him. He's just about half a second behind. But still, this is Formula 1. Half a second is like, I don't know, a mile away. It's not easy breaking that gap down.
You know, if you think about it in kind of lengthwise, it's about a football field, you know, every half a second, these cars, when they're, you know, at the end of this main straight.
Yeah.
You're upwards of, 205, 206 miles an hour in qualifying going to turn 1. Actually got a battle brewing between Baruza and Salman Malgo for the last spot in the top 5. and Walker has pitted.
Okay, so he's finally decided to retire those tires and get some new ones. So we got an Irish New Potato getting pretty close to Mistaken Youth. He was going to try for a move down into turn 1, but didn't get enough room to do that. He is still trying to go for it here. Doesn't have a lot of overtake to use right now. Mistaken Youth is going to try and defend as much as he can. But let's see how the next few corners go with them as they are heading now down into the famous turn 10 coming. Let's see who handles it a lot better. I do find that you get much closer to cars that you're chasing going out into turn 10, depending on how your driver in front of you is going.
It does. You know, some of the guys brake a little bit earlier just to carry a little more speed to the turn. And some of the guys like to really just wait to the last second to brake for that turn. And, you know, we'll downshift in a second. The second we hit the apex, give that car a little bit of rotation. And then upshift into third to make it through. Try to keep the wheel spin to a minimum.
Yes, that is true. Even with my driving, I have what is it? I have the traction control turned off, but I still have medium braking on. But even on 2020, with traction control off, you can't just go full throttle through a turn like this. You're gonna just spin off. You still have to, you know, just be a little bit gentle on the throttle as you go through. So that's why I've been trying to learn all the settings off.
Have gotten into each other. This is going to let Milan catch up a lot of ground.
Oh, definitely. He's already been catching up. He's breaking that gap down, going down to about a second now. Mistaken You still holds P1 going, but let's see did they get any damage off of this?
I'm not seeing. It's one of those things like where Milan was sitting. It was, you know, it's kind of hard to push through that when you see the time just staying the same no matter what you do. But the second you can actually see that car in front of you, it really makes you start driving to push harder and go get them.
Very much true.
I can see Milan doing that now. This is going to be a great three-way battle.
Definitely will. BP is coming down behind, but he's just a little bit, about 4 seconds behind of them. But the top three, they're going to be pretty much fighting this out down to the end. And the next, about, how many laps do we have left? We're on 23. So just a few laps left to go here. I don't see any damage on these cars. Maybe minor damage down to the front, on the front wing, just maybe minor pieces off, but no end plates are missing. So they seem to have pretty good control of their cars going.
You know, even last week it came down to basically a three-way battle to the end.
Yes, it did. That was a pretty fun race. And let's see. New Potato was thinking about going on the inside, but rethought about that move. Just holding P2 for now.
Mistaken Youth, great exit out of the turn. So did Milan.
I see Ace has gained a position off of Night Shadow there. That's Walker with the fastest lap there, 127.5.
You know, Walker ran a time in time trial that was only 2/10 off the world record.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. I've never gotten anywhere near that close.
I think it was 1:24.4 that he ran. It was lightning fast.
Oh, that's pretty fast, man. But the guy is pretty quick. That was Irish New Potato going just a little bit wide off of that turn, going on to that straight going. Let's see how well they're gonna go through here. That gap is so small, but yet so hard to close.
It's very hard to close. Just looking at Irish, he is pretty much out of ERS here.
And he is trying for a move here. But Mistaken You does get it back. Could make that one stick, so they're just going to continue down going. Mistaken Youth is fighting hard to keep this P1.
Yep, the laps are winding down, and you know, you get down to these last laps and you're in a battle like this, it gets pretty heated, you know, you really start pushing.
And it's also so easy to just make a minor mistake and just, you know, ruin your entire race. Milan is just looking for any little section that you can just gain some time off of these guys getting down to the battle, down for P1 here.
They all have about the same amount of the overtake button under ERS. Mike does seem to be conserving his ERS a little better than the other two, which is definitely going to help him here in these last laps. He's got it this time. The new potato has clarity.
I think that's gonna hold, yeah. So Irish new potato holds P1 now, going into lap 26 here.
You know, and just like in real life, kind of like last year, you got Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari all battling for the lead.
It's a pretty interesting fight up front here, but let's see who's gonna come out on top, because remember, we could have Irish New Potato finishing P1 and then just end up in P2 because of you know, penalties and stuff. But let's see how many of these guys, what penalties they really got, if anyone got or not. But it's gonna be interesting to see how this works out. But it's a pretty good battle out in front here. There's always battles to follow in this race for this league, man. There's always so much battles to follow. Got T-Pound in P12, so he's just trying to catch up to gain some more positions out, but not going too well.
The new potato actually has a 3-second penalty at the moment.
Oh, I did forget. I think we are able to check on penalties. Let's see. The race director should show us that. I'm not sure if it's going to show. Let's see, incidents. But let's see, I'm going to keep that part for the end before I do miss anything on track here. Because we are still able to see who has penalties and who had warnings and stuff like that on the race director screen. But the gap is still pretty close.
Right now, if there's a 3-second penalty still, unless he did serve it under his pit stop, but I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so.
Mistaken Youth and Milan both don't have a penalty, so their fight for second could be the fight for the win here.
It definitely could, because you're saying Irish New Potato has a 3-second penalty?
That he does.
Okay, so definitely he'll be losing both P2 and P3 if these guys can stay this close to him. So if it does play out that way, he could end up finishing P3 at the end of this race, even holding up to that P1. But he's going to have to try as much as he can to gain a little bit of a gap, but it's not going to be easy. He does seem to be getting it to some parts of the track, which he's good at, but some parts, Mistaken Youth and Milan are coming back at him.
They're definitely keeping him honest here. He's not able to build any kind of gap or...
And he's running out of time because we're now going into lap 28 of this race. So just 2 laps left to go, basically here. So he has very limited time. So he's going to have to just try and hold on to P1 for as long as he can. And I think he's coming onto just a little bit of a traffic in front of him here. Of course, the car should be ghosted. Shouldn't be much of a problem. But in Formula 1, we usually don't like to come onto traffic. It usually gets in your way. But that's usually if the car is not ghosted. That's Artemis in front of him. I'm trying to have a look to see if Artemis is going to be ghosted for him, but the car doesn't look to seem to be that way. But let's see, I think it should do. Oh yes, it is. But Artemis is getting out of the way as well. He did get off track there. Just to let him go by, so it's pretty good for him. I think it's going to be a 3-way battle all the way down to the end here, because I don't think these guys are going to give any room. It's only if someone just makes a mistake and, you know, loses some time.
You know,
But
these
if
three guys are
yeah.
just matching each other lap time for lap time. I mean, nobody's definitely giving an inch here. These guys are giving it everything they have here in these last 2 laps.
Definitely, and I think the only person that might be able to know that Irish New Potato has a 3 second penalty is Mistaken Youth. If he does use his MFD, I'm not sure if it works on the online races as well, but it should. It should be able to tell you about the driver in front that they have a penalty, and if he knows that he has not got a penalty as yet as we go into the last lap of the race, then he's going to know that all he has to do is just stay close to this guy, and he's going to be able to get P1. Oh, we got Milan going wheel to wheel with Mistaken Youth going up this straight here now. But let's see who's going to get it done. He's using just all of his overtake and doesn't have anything much left. He's going to have to take it on the outside, but I'm not sure he's going to get to keep it. Doesn't seem like we'll be able to hold that for now. But that was going to be a great fight coming out to the last lap there. If Milan could have gotten that done, would have been pretty good for you guys. Your team would have gotten just a little bit more points. But, oh, and Mistaken Youth made a mistake. He did make a mistake and lost it just a little bit on the rear end of the car. So Milan is now in P2.
The pass for the net win.
There we go. Milan is up into P2. But let's see if Mistaken Youth is going to come back at him. Milan trying to defend. Mistaken Youth has gotten P2 going on the outside of this turn. He has gotten it back. Milan is just right. Oh, and both of them have lost control of their cars.
They have crashed.
Oh, they have crashed. Milan has lost his front wing. Mistaken Youth is still in P2 going. Oh, that's a disappointment for your teammate here. MXE is now down to P4 running. He's lost a lot of his front wing. He's going to have to try and hold it through just this last corner going. So that is Irish New Potato taking P1. Mistaken Youth currently P3. Sorry, P2. Beefy is P3, Milan is P4. But let's see how everything works out down to the final tip. So you have 13 drivers finishing this race out of 20. But let's just wait for the final tip and let's see what happened here exactly. But that was a pretty good battle. Got really heated going down to that last few corners there. Unfortunately, Milan lost out just a little bit. So he got knocked out of the podium just a little bit there, fighting for that P2.
That was an excellent battle there. That was really, really good.
That just goes to show, yeah.
Those two actually touched each other, and you know, all they had to do was stay in those positions, and Mistaken Youth should have been, would have been the winner under penalties.
Yep. Unfortunate that they played out that way, but it does happen as such, as we know. So Night Shadow got driver of the day.
Night Shadow. Way to go to Irish New Potato on a great win, and Mistaken Youth definitely drove really well today. Kind of gutted for him on that one, and my teammate drove an excellent race also, and I'm really gutted for Ferrari
he did some great defending from him there. There was great defending from Milan, but unfortunately both of them did just spin off just a little bit, so Beefy did get a move done. He was just about 3 or 4 seconds behind, so he got the P3 on that one. But let's see how it comes up here on the penalties. Yep, so because of that incident with Mistaken Youth and Milan, Mistaken Youth has lost out on P1, because he would have gotten P1 off of the Irish New Potato there. But MX, that was a great race, great streaming it. Congratulations to the drivers. Night Shadow, good job on him getting driver of the day. T-Pound did lose out today on driver of the day. He did not get to gain enough positions. He had to take that extra pit stop.
That was a fun race to watch. I really wish I could have finished the race.
Very
maybe
unfortunate,
next week,
yeah.
I won't wind up here in the booth with you, except for maybe afterwards if I win.
Hopefully you do. So it's going to be probably, I think it's China next, right?
That is correct. We are going to the Shanghai circuit.
It's going to be pretty interesting when we get to Vietnam there as well, yes, after that one. So looking forward to China next week. But I'll put some more information up so for everyone to get to see. But it was a pretty good race, good battling out front. Unfortunate, some of the guys did lose out on positions there with that battle down into the last few corners. But it does happen in F1. Anyway, thanks to everyone for racing, and hopefully we can do this again the same way next week. Some more fun battles, keep the driving clean, and just have some fun. But MX, thanks for joining me on the session with the stream. It was pretty good having you on.
No problem. It's been fun. It's been a blast sitting here with you watching this race. And
yeah, now you actually get to see. Yeah, you have to go do that. I know you got yourself to go do because take care of the league. I know if you guys might be a little bit upset with the situation that happened, but let's see how that goes. All right,
we'll find out. Yeah, and might be a few stewards issues to work out, but overall it was a very, very clean race by everybody. And again, I'm proud of this league, and thank you for streaming for us and being our official streamer.
No problem. So I look forward to doing this next week again. So that is it for us for now, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. All right, MX. So we'll be off now.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay. Thank you.